Alrighty, Tiger fans, it's contract talk time, and we've had 3 players put their pen to paper today. Well, one of them officially that we already knew about, and 2 new ones. So Campbell Gray has now officially signed for the 2-year extension that we'd mentioned a little while ago, that John Ralph confirmed not long after, and then nothing else kind of happened in between all of that. But the club has now officially confirmed that Campbell Gray has extended for 2 years, taking him out till 2027, which is awesome. I think it's a really good one for him, and I'm super impressed and excited for what he's going to do in 2026. And, you know, when you watch him play his games this year and you see how calm, how composed, and I guess the telltale sign for me is when you watch a young player playing and it doesn't stand out to you that they're a young, inexperienced player, that they just seem like they fit in and can do everything that everyone else is doing, that's a good sign. And that's what I kind of felt with Campbell Gray out there. Obviously got knocked back a couple of times with some injuries that were really untimely and nasty, and really ruined his run at not only at AFL level, but also in the VFL final series too. So he's one of those guys that's going to be able to play at either end of the ground. We know we've seen him in the back line for us at AFL level, but he can definitely play a role up forward as well. And I don't want to hear this round peg, square hole stuff. The guy can play both ends. He was drafted as a forward from the VFL at Essendon anyway, so he's already done it. It's just if we need to swing, we've actually got some mobility there to be able to do so. But I thought that he played better football as a defender from what I'd seen on very limited opportunity, it must be said. And I think with the impending exit of Tyler Young, Campbell Gray feels like that natural replacement to take over the mantle. So I think we'll probably see him as a defender for the most part, but it won't surprise me if we do roll a few players in different positions that have the ability to do so, like a Campbell Gray. So well done to him on officially getting pen to paper for the 2-year deal. The other signatures today, Kaleb Smith has extended for a year. I'm really happy with that one as well. I know, look, I think he's just been really starved of opportunity, and it's probably a little bit unlucky for him that the place on the ground that he plays and specialises in was probably the most stable part of our side. Obviously, Jaden Short being out created a little bit of flexibility there, but then Luke Traynor was in, Tom Brown was in, Sam Banks was in. So very difficult, even James Trezise to a lesser extent. So it was difficult for Kaleb Smith to break into that side. And look, the onus is on him to do that, though. He's got to step his game up at VFL level at training and put the pressure on these guys to make sure they play at a high enough level. Otherwise, he's taking their spot. That's his job, and that's what he's got to get himself to do. But to be fair, his VFL numbers typically stack up. Like, he's usually getting upwards of 25 disposals, sometimes 30 disposals in a lot of weeks. So he knows how to find the ball. I've always thought his ball use was fine, especially all his games at VFL level. And I know that VFL to AFL is a big difference. I don't think he's had like bad games at AFL level. I just think there's been players who are already ahead of him, and it's been hard to get himself ahead of those players. And it would be tricky, right? Because you get your crack at AFL, and I guess when you're playing VFL, you're probably playing with a lot more freedom, a lot more dare, because you're probably more comfortable at the level and you're trying to impress and you're trying to get ahead of the pack to get selected. But then when you do get selected, I feel like for some of these players fighting for a spot, maybe there's an element of going into your shell with some preservation. I'm not saying he did that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that sometimes happens to a lot of players. But I just want to see him play with the run and dash and carry that he shows at VFL level, because I do think he has some reasonably good AFL traits. And I would love to see him get some opportunity this year at senior level. I think we need to, again, I think this is now his 4th year. He's one of those players that you now get to a point in time where you need to work out once and for all, is he someone you're going to persevere with post 2026 after this 1-year contract? And you only work that out by playing them and seeing if they adapt and give you something at the highest level, assuming that there's form to warrant that selection. And the third player who put pen to paper for another year was Oliver Hayes-Brown, the snack pack, which I'm really pumped about too. I've been really impressed with his development in the VFL too, and I was on record as saying that I really do think that if he didn't get injured at the time he did in the VFL towards the back half of the year, I really think there might have been a game he could have snuck a senior appearance in. And purely because Sims was out injured. Everyone was out injured, right? And Nank was cooked. I think we can all agree that we had kind of worn him out really badly towards the end of the year. And I honestly saw a world in which Hayes Brown could have offered a chop out. What was there to lose? Nothing. Like, it really wouldn't have mattered one inch, but it would have given Nank a chance to freshen up and make sure we don't want to fool Ivan Maric, put it that way. But Hayes Brown's progression from last year to this year was really good. Still sometimes looks a bit awkward when kicking the ball, but he makes it work for himself. And I actually really like the prospect of having a 208 centimetre ruckman who can give first use of the ball, who doesn't mind throwing his weight around. Like, he's not afraid to crack in, win a hard ball, get and dish it out. I like how he's tracking. I'm happy with the 1 year extension. I'm really keen to see how he goes, because he'll probably be the number one ruck for a lot of next year. I'm sure he'll work in tandem with Samson Ryan and Tom Sims when he's back from injury. But I really like it. I really like it a lot. So that then comes to the final part of the discussion in terms of list spots and what's left. So I've taken this from the Big Footy website. So this is the work of RT on Big Footy. So shout out to you, mate. You're an absolute legend. You know I love your work. It's not fully updated yet because, I mean, those signings just got announced and he hasn't had a chance to update it. But we can work it out ourselves, of course. So from that top list, obviously Hayes Brown, Kaleb Smith, then move to to the 2026 field, because they will now have contracts for that point in time, meaning the only players left unsigned are Tyler Young, who we know has requested a trade to West Coast, and Tyler Sonsie and Thompson Dow, who are in serious limbo, which pains me because I've really backed both those boys in, and I do think they both have a bit to offer, but I think they're going to be in limbo pretty much until post-draft. So congratulations to the three who did put pen to paper, though. Always good to hear when the Tigers re-sign. We're looking forward to seeing them and how they go in 2026. But let us know what you think about Dow and Sonsie. It feels like time's running out, but I'd love to keep them both on. I think they both serve a purpose, but I also understand that you want to move forward as well, and if there's a better way forward, then we've got to explore that as well. So I'm obviously very open-minded to that too, but let us know what you think in the comments below, and until the next one, go Tigers.